Alright boys, we are back with another solid video. So if you're running an agency and you're stuck between like 5 to 30K a month, I can guarantee you that the problem has nothing to do with leads, your offer, your acquisition system, or anything like that, right? You might think it does, but it purely doesn't, okay? Because at this level, you've already proven you can sell, bro. You've already proven that you can fulfill, right? So if the issue was, your ability to sell or your tactics or whatever, you would be at zero, but you're not, right? You're sort of like in that weird kind of middle zone where, things are working, but nothing feels predictable and consistent. And the thing about this level as well is that being stuck doesn't look like you're failing, because you might still be doing the fulfillment yourself, you're answering clients all day and you don't trust anyone to do it as well as you. And you keep telling yourself that you're gonna hire soon, and every month sort of feels a bit unpredictable, right? And at the end of the day, you might be pretty exhausted after working, in the agency 24/7, but it's not technically doing well, right? Because you're literally doing everything, right? And because it feels messy, you might be thinking that if I just get more clients, everything will sort itself out, right? But it won't, because you're not stuck at that level because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because fear is running your decisions, and fear is sneaky. Okay, it doesn't show up as, I am fear. It shows up wearing labels, What if my revenue drops when I make this hire? What if they don't do it as well as me? What if the clients get pissed and the results downhill, right? And let me just wait until I hit X amount of clients or X amount of revenue. Or you might be thinking that it's not the right time yet. And you have to realize those aren't reasons. It's literally just curtains, right? And behind every curtain is the same thing, which is fear. And you have to realize that the cave you're afraid to enter holds the treasure you seek. Meaning the exact move you keep avoiding is the one that takes you to the next level, right? And I give you a real example of my own life, right? A few months back when I was here in Dubai, I was at a dinner with a friend, and during that conversation, I was literally just telling him about, how far I wanted to scale the agency and so on. And he told me something that hurt my ego at first, right? He said that, you know exactly what to do, bro, so why aren't you doing it? And deep down, I knew exactly what he was talking about, right? Because at that time, I knew I needed to hire a CSM because I had so many clients I needed to manage myself. And I'd known that for so many months, right? But I kept telling myself things like, what if my revenue drops? What if that hire can't handle the clients that I do? And I'm gonna do it once I hit X amount of clients. But again, those wasn't reasons. It was purely just fear dressed up as logic. And here's the thing about fear, okay? The moment you actually see and become aware of it, you can't unsee it. Once that label gets exposed, it becomes so crystal clear, and it's like your brain just won't shut up about it, right? Because you literally rooted out one of the beliefs that's driving your reality. And so you know exactly what you need to do. And at that point, avoiding it becomes more painful than actually doing it. And that's when the decision becomes inevitable, right? So with my example, I interviewed a fuck ton of TSMs and eventually hired them. And what happened after that wasn't magical. It was predictable, right? I knew it was gonna happen. My time freed up, clients got way better support, and I made a fuck ton of more money, right? Not because the hire itself was some genius move, but because I finally acted in alignment with the agency that already operated at my goal. And that's exactly how fear actually allows you to step into a new identity, because you don't become the next version of yourself by just thinking differently. You become it by confronting the things that you've been avoiding. And this applies to literally every area of business. At every level you hit, there's gonna be things that you're gonna fear doing. But for example, when you're at that 10 to 30K a month, fear usually shows up as, avoiding hiring, avoiding stepping into being a leader, and letting go of control. And every time you obey that fear, you're just gonna be reinforcing the old identity. You're gonna keep being the bottleneck, the guy everything depends on. But once you become aware of it and root out those labels and start acting in alignment with the agency that already does 50, 100K months, reality has no choice but to follow. So I want you to basically look at the one thing you keep avoiding in your agency and ask yourself, why am I not doing this? And you're gonna get tons of labels, right? And it might not be the right time, I'll do it once I hit this amount of revenue, blah, 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 all that nonsense. And then ask again, why is that a problem, right? And just ask yourself why enough times. And then eventually you're gonna hit the real answer, which is always gonna be a feeling. There's always a feeling attached to the end. And once you become aware of what that feeling is, which is usually fear, then the next move becomes obvious, right? So if this resonates with you and it hits you and you realize fear has been quietly running your decisions, that's a good thing, right? Because awareness is the beginning of control. And once fear stops running your show, you stop being capped. and you can finally act in alignment with that version of you who already does 50, 100k months, and reality will follow. So yeah, boys, that was pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you found it super valuable. And yeah, boys, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace.